All right. It's Rifatara Shams. I'm the, as Danushka mentioned already, I'm repeating again, I'm the runner-up of FIT 3-minute thesis this year. Today, I'm going to share my experience of 3MT. I believe which should help you to prepare yourself for the next 3MT. By the way, I'm not the boss. I'm not an expert either. So I will just share what I have learned while preparing myself for 3MT. Well, I'd like to start with a little bit background of 3MT, though I'm sure almost all of you know about it. 3-minute thesis is a research communication competition developed by the University of Queensland in 2008. It celebrates the exciting research conducted by PhD students in only 3 minutes in a language appropriate to a non-specialist audience. The first competition was held in 2008 at the University of Queensland only, and now it is, it is held to over 900 universities across more than 80 countries worldwide. The next question is, why participate in 3MT? Well, I think it gives an opportunity to students to improve their academic presentation and research communication skills. It develops skills to explain research in a language appropriate to a non-specialist audience, those who are not expert in your area. For example, if someone, suddenly asks us, what is your research or which area you are working on? We always fight on how to explain in simpler language, how to make him or her understand, or sometimes we talk so much that he or she gets confused. So this is, I believe, a practice of preparing your pitch. 3MT also provides an opportunity for PhD students to know one another and talk about their research. And this is also a good networking opportunity. And last but not the least, prizes. First prize is 5,000, runner-up is 2,000, and the People's Choice is 1,000. And in faculty level, 500 for the winner and 200 for the runner-up. So I think you can try for next. And this is the progression of the competition. The bottom is the faculty round. One finalist from each faculty directly goes to the university final to represent their faculties. Runner-ups from all faculties goes to another competition, which is called wildcard round, where only one is selected to go to the university round. And finally, the winners from each university compete in Asia Pacific competition, And at every level of the competition, each competitor is assessed on some judging criteria like comprehension and content. For example, did the presentation provide an understanding of the background and significance of research? Did the presenter explains the research questions and their significance? Did the presenter describe the impact of research, including expected outcomes and conclusion? Was the language understandable by a non-specialist audience, and so on? The second criteria is engagement and communication. For example, did the oration make the audience want to know more about your research? Did the presenter have sufficient enthusiasm for research? Did the presenter capture and maintain their audience attraction, their attention? Did the speaker have sufficient stage presence, eye contact, body language, confidence, vocal range? And so these are the judging criteria for a 3MT. And finally, the PowerPoint slide. For example, sorry, did the slide enhance your presentation? Was it, clear, legible, and concise enough? The next question is how to take preparation for 3MT. There are 3 main things to prepare of, like title, slide, and presentation. I will go one by one in detail. All right, that title should be, definitely meaningful, but as simple as possible. And of course, easy to understand. There is no restrictions that the title of a 3MT should be like similar to your PhD research title. So I think you don't need to be worried for that. For example, my PhD research title is Towards Operationalizing Values in Mobile Applications, a mixed method empirical study with agriculture apps for Bangladeshi female farmers. Whereas my 3MD title was Towards Developing Values-Based Mobile Apps. Quite simpler, I think. The next question is how the slide should be. Well, 3MD permits one slide only. It's always preferable to use as less text as possible and as less complicated graphics as possible, because sometimes it is distracting for the audience. I mean, the slide should be simpler and the design should be clean enough. Otherwise, the audience might start reading your slide instead of listening to you, or the condition can be like this guy. However, many successful slides use only one impactful image that represents the main point of the presentation. And lastly, the slide needs to be static, no transition, no animations, no movement, no movement of any descriptions, no audio, no video. So these are not permitted. And by the way, remember, your slide will not convey your entire message. It will only complement your spoken oration. Well, this is a sample of a complicated slide. There are too many information. I'm sure some of you have already started reading the slide and struggling what this means exactly. If the audience needs to struggle to understand the slide, then there is no point of adding it. On the other hand, this slide is clear, legible, concise, and easy to understand. This kind of slides are much more potential for 3MT. The next task is how to prepare for presentation. I think it is, it is necessary to write script or maybe notes of what you are going to say. Otherwise, it is, normal that you will not be synchronized, or you will take more than 3 minutes maybe. For this, you need to think about your research and to try to explain like a story with non-technical words. The story, must have a takeaway, definite takeaway. You may divide this story into several parts, like what you are doing, why you are doing, how you are doing, and what you are expecting or what you have got already. While preparing the script, I think you need to be very careful about the language so that it is understandable by non-specialist audience. You have to avoid jargon, of course. For example, for example, a sentence like, I'm looking for the intervention points in different layers of scaled agile framework to address human values. I don't think it is understandable by the general audience, So keep the words as non-technical as possible. And if you really need to use a technical word or mention a researcher, please elaborate them, as audience might have no idea on it. Try to use simple and short sentences. You need to organize your story and tell in a way that shows your excitement, your enthusiasm towards your research. And finally, humor is always welcome in 3MT. In fact, I think you can start with something that draws the attention of the audience. And definitely you can take more than 3 minutes. Even you can't exceed, once again, more than 3 minutes. Well, how to prepare for oration? The first thing you should do is to watch some videos of a previous winner's presentation and note down what exactly you liked from them, and then try to incorporate all those in your presentation. That's what I did in my while preparing for my 3MT presentation, and try to memorize the script. Yes, I know this is the toughest part, but no way, you have to do it. And you can start practicing in front of a mirror. This is a useful way to find out our mistakes. And once you are satisfied with your mirror practice, then practice in front of your parents or grandparents or any friends or family maybe who have no idea on your research. After explaining, please ask them that if they understood what you have said already. And definitely you need a clear pronunciation and make some drama with your voice. You can use variety in your voice range. For example, if you are using the word loud, you can say loud instead of loud. Or if you are using the word fast and slow, you can say fast, slow. You know what I mean? You need to work on every word and try to use some, varieties with your voice. Don't rush, and sometimes give a pause where you want the audience to think about. Show confidence in your voice. Body language is really important. You need to stand straight, showing your confidence. Never turn back to the audience, never drag your shoes or play with your hair and something like that, which are very distracting, And hold your head up and make eye contact. Try to wear formal dresses, and no additional props are allowed. Well, I have faced a few challenges. The first one is to summarize my research to fit in 3 minutes. I believe this is the main problem of everyone. It was really difficult, and I had to change the story several times. The second one was the most horrible, memorizing. I tried 26 times and I failed. And finally, I succeeded at 27th. I couldn't memorize the script, but noting down a few points helped me a lot. The funniest challenge was, to create video of mine as 3MT was virtual this year. What happened with me, every time when I saw myself on the camera, either I got nervous or I laughed out loud for no reason. Finally, I did it somehow. Anyway, let's watch my 3MT video. And at first, my apologies if I did any mistake. Yeah, I know there are lots of mistakes, but let's see.
Have you ever thought how a mobile app can significantly change a woman's life and the economy of a local community? Sounds unreal, right? Let me share a true story. A woman in a remote area of a developing country who was a homemaker changed her life by simply using an agriculture app. With the help of it, now she is conducting agriculture business and contributing to her family and the economy. This has led her to become independent, gain confidence, raise her voice, and live with dignity. However, the same woman stopped using an app because of the lack of information regarding crop diseases. That means the app couldn't meet her curiosity and information requirements. These requirements and preferences are called values. Wait, are you thinking that I'm talking about business or economic value? This is something beyond monetary value. Values are what people consider important in life. It can be curiosity, simplicity, tradition, and much more. Therefore, limited considerations of users' values in apps can lead to user disappointments and negative socio-economic consequences. This is where my research comes in. I'm conducting a case study with marginalized women in a developing country to explore their values and to incorporate those in apps. For this, I'm using a universal human values theory from social science called the Schwartz theory that has defined 58 human values. My research is the first to combine a social theory and mobile app development. My research is divided into 3 stages. Number 1, I have used the well-known value measurement tool developed by Schwartz to measure the values of 200 target women. In the second stage, I have conducted focus group discussions and app review analysis to get a sense of how many values are being reflected in the existing apps. You may be surprised to know that 50% of the values are already reflected, but approximately half of the values are ignored, like freedom, loyalty, and privacy. The final stage is combining with these outcomes with interviews with the app developers to propose a set of practices to consider human values in apps. Therefore, my research is creating the awareness of considering human values in apps. The findings from the case study can be used to empower women by making the best use of the apps. And importantly, my research is transferable. The methodology can be replicated for the users in any society, including Australian society. So, I'm here to help you in addressing your values in apps. Remember, the apps can be your life changers. Thanks.
All right. I hope you enjoyed it. Now, it's time to watch the winner's TreeMT video. Oops, what happened? Sorry for the interruption. Okay, let me share the video here. I hope you can see it.
Ever wondered if your information practices are determined by your culture? Let's delve into this question with a short story of a girl named Mabia. Mabia is one of the many preteen girls staying at the Rohingya refugee camps. Started menstruating, neither she nor her mom had any information about maintaining clean and hygienic menstrual practices in a refugee situation. They couldn't approach any of the multiple NGO development workers visiting their camps every day since they were all men and their culture forbids such discussions with them. Women development workers were only accessible over 6 months later, and this lack of information from a culturally appropriate source resulted in Mabia and over 120 other females losing their lives over infections caused by poor menstrual hygiene. When we talk about society and people, culture and information are not mutually exclusive. I too am a child of refugees, and I couldn't imagine losing my grandmother or my aunts over information that you and I take for granted. Quite simply, a basic fundamental human right. This story of Mabia tells us of the real world impact that culture has on information access and use. If access to information is one side of the coin, having a compromised autonomy in using such information is the other side, which extends significant challenges for the communities. My research aims to understand how cultural limitations and boundaries affect the use and communication of information. I do this by exploring the various layers of the information ecosystem of an international NGO Oxfam in the country of Bangladesh. My thesis uses accounts from 40 interviews of NGO workers conducted over last year as I shadowed them in their community development work, including their humanitarian relief efforts at the Rohingya refugee camps. And it is from their experiences that I create a narrative keeping cultural understanding as a focal point. From this data, I will identify a policy and intervention framework for NGO development workers on how the technical and cultural logics of information shape culture and are shaped by culture, in turn helping them aid the community better. My research will benefit the society by ensuring that dire consequences like Mabia's are prevented in every single instance where culture and information face off against each other. Thank you.
Sorry for the interruption. Anyways, I don't know why the video didn't work. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed both of the videos. Oops, what happened? Maybe I forgot to, oh, sorry. Lots of interruption. Anyways, I have added a few helpful resources regarding TreeMT here for your convenience. I provided my slides to Danushka already so that you can access the resources. And I think you can also talk to Julie Holden. She is really helpful, and she will guide you how to prepare yourself for 3MT. And to sum up, I would like to mention the 3 key points. Think about your research attentively in a quiet place. Write the story you want to tell, and practice, practice, and practice. Remember, an ounce of practice is generally worth more than a ton of theory. Thank you. As I mentioned, I'm not an expert, so my apologies if I provided any wrong information. Thanks.
Thanks, Rifat. If anyone have any questions, I'm sure there will be many questions. So it was really interesting. So even I haven't seen how presentation will be like in 3MT, or how to present in a particular way that the people from non-technical background could understand. So it's really helpful, especially the people like me who are in their early career, like in their first years of the PhD program.
Thanks.
So I heard that you managed to do a lot of things during last few months, like your milestones, EMT, and I heard that it's really sorry that in Bangladesh the COVID situation is really bad.
Yeah.
So how's your family members are doing right now?
Sorry, the COVID situation?
Yeah.
Bangladesh is in its peak now, and unfortunately, my full family is COVID positive in Bangladesh.
Really sorry to hear about that.
Yeah, and you can understand how stressful it is for. And you were correct. I was going through lots of things. I had a IGZI presentation, artifacts presentation there. I managed somehow the 3MT, I don't know how. And my mid candidature was last month, and I had another paper to give in a conference. So somehow I managed it's all about balancing stress and work. So I tried to keep, my professional life and personal life separate. I don't know how did I do, but I tried.
That's impressive.
And thanks, Tanushka. Thanks for asking.
So, anyone have any comments? Question?
Yeah, can I say something? Thanks, Rifat, for the presentation. I like your 3MT presentation as well as how you presented your lessons learned with like specific examples. So are there any like practice sessions from the faculty that help you to prepare for 3MT, or?
Not really. So only what the other my fellow colleagues they can do is talk to Julie Holton, because Julie is the one who can help in preparing 3MT.
Okay, so they're not like workshops for preparing, because I remember there were workshops during my PhD.
No, but now it is not happening now.
It's good to follow up with the faculty and ask them to provide some sessions.
And I have another suggestion. If any of you want to talk to Julie regarding the preparation of 3MT, at first try to write a script. Maybe it can be a preliminary draft, but at least try something, and then send it to Julie and give her 5 to 7 days to work on it, and then she will come back to you, and it would be really helpful for you.
Okay, good. And also the video that you showed us, was she the winner of FIT or the general?
FIT.
Oh, okay.
FIT. She is the winner of FIT.
Yep. Okay, thanks, Rifat.
Thank you, Huriya.
So, any other comments? Questions? All right, then Thanks, Rifat. Thanks, Jachi, for committing your time. The
Thank you.
amount of commitment you did on this MSF workshop and giving us valuable like your experiences and everything. So it was great.